Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day you're watching this video. For me, it's around noon Eastern Time on Friday. And I am Omar Ford, managing editor of MDDI, an online publication that covers the medtech and diagnostics industry. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about some of the current things that are going on in medtech and some pretty interesting stories that kind of stuck out to me this week. But before we begin, if you've been watching my story, if you've been watching the videos, you know I always wear these hats because I haven't had a haircut since the outbreak really began. So I'm still a little nervous, a little apprehensive about going into the barber. So I'm covering up my head so you don't see this Brillo pad underneath. You know, my hair's got some crazy things going on. I've got grays and blacks mixed together, and it's just not a pretty sight. So, if you've been watching it for a while, you know the inside joke is that I don't take my hat off, and my wife and kids are upset about it, and they really want me to get a haircut, but I haven't. If you're new, now you're in on the joke, and you can understand why I wear a hat. I know I said I was going to get a haircut last time, but things change, still don't feel comfortable. Maybe next time. Maybe. Maybe. Anyhow, you didn't come here, however, to probably listen to me talk about my hair problems or hair issues. You probably are interested in what I have to say about the medtech industry, so I'll get right into that. And I want to draw your attention to a story that I wrote earlier this week about Augmetics. And Augmetics is a company that has developed the X-Vision spine system. It's an augmented reality surgical image guidance technology. Well, Augmetics recently raised $15 million in a Series B round. Now, before you say, okay, Omar, what's so interesting about the company raising $15 million in a Series B round? Well, here's the thing. And I had an interview earlier this week with the CEO and the founder. And what's so interesting is the employees of the company actually stepped up to help with this financing. And they did so because Augmetics originally started embarked on this journey to raise their Series B shortly before COVID began. The outbreak really hit the U.S. And they were close. I mean, they were really close to securing some strong funding, some strong financings. But in March, that's when everything shut down, and VCs told them, hey, we got to see what's going on. We got to see what's happening. We got to put a halt on this. We'll revisit this a little bit later. Now, if you're a company that has recently gotten a nod from FDA for your technology, you're in the process of a launch, and you're depending on financing to help facilitate that launch of your technology, this could be a severe blow. What happened instead was the CEO and the founder came up with an idea, and they said, hey, let's not halt or hold or postpone this financing round. Instead, why don't we do this? Why don't we go and ask the employees if they want to help with this? So they did. And the employees formed a limited liability company, and they were able to raise some of the proceeds for this Series B financing. And to me, that is incredible. That's an incredible medtech story because they believe so much in the technology that they wanted to, in fact, invest in it. And that's just incredible. You don't really hear, you hear of it, but in this instance, when you have COVID-19 raging in the background, when you have the company just on the cusp of dealing with the hardships of the fallout from some venture capitalists getting skittish or cold feet, to see the employees come in and I don't want to say rescue, that might be too strong a word, but to help push the technology forward in this way, it's just incredible. It's just really, really incredible. And it's the type of innovation, let me repeat, the type of innovation, I'm not misusing the word, trust me, but it's the type of innovation that we need to see in the industry right now. Because when we usually think of innovation, we think of, okay, a brand new technology, a brand new idea, but no, we have to have innovation to push our innovations. That is what we need right now in the industry. And it's not going to be a one size fits all approach. If it was, everybody would do the same thing and we'd be la la la. It'd be a happy, joyous time. But no, each individual company, each individual CEO with an innovation out there has to think outside of the box, because we're in a very fluid situation called the COVID-19 pandemic. I promise you, if I would have done this video, and I'll explain what I mean by that. If I would have done this video last week, what I would be saying probably wouldn't hold a lot of water this week. And if we fast forward to Monday, probably what I'm saying right now might not even still be true. So let me just say it. We're now in a situation where some of the numbers in some parts of the country, in the U.S., are going back up. And the rates are getting higher. And this situation is so dynamic. It's so dynamic. And it's so fluid that it's very hard to predict. Just very, very hard to predict. And because this is happening, the medtech industry has to adjust to it. You have to adjust to the fact that what was true this week might not be true next week. We can take Texas, for example. My colleague Amanda Peterson wrote an excellent piece on Texas closing down or putting a halt on elective surgeries or elective procedures because the coronavirus rates were trending higher in the state. That's going to be a blow to some companies who have a lot of business out of Texas. And medtech companies are going to have to deal with this shifting reality. America's going to have to deal with this shifting reality, to be honest. But in the context of this conversation, the medtech and diagnostics industry has to deal with this shifting reality. Nothing is going to be the same for long. And you always have to constantly get ahead of that. Funding might be plentiful this week, but 2 or 3 weeks from now, because of the volatility, it might be nearly impossible to get financings. If you look back in March, when Augmetics was trying to get their final deal in place, it was impossible for VCs to kind of commit to a company. But if you look at earlier this month and perhaps last month, you'll see that companies like like Q Health raised a whopping $100 million in a Series C round. That's just a few months removed, from originally when Augmetics was trying to raise their funding round. Now, Q is working on a different application. They're working on a test for COVID-19, a molecular diagnostic for COVID-19. So that definitely plays a role in it. But my point is that things are shifting. And in order to deal with the shift, the industry has to be innovative enough to change with the tide, get ahead of the curve, and kind of understand that, hey, we're in turbulent waters here. We're in different times, and we've constantly got to shift priorities, and we can't do things the old way, and the old way can be 2 weeks old. You've got to be willing to change, almost change on a dime. And I commend Augmetics for doing what they did. It's an incredible story, and I'll try and drop a link in the comment section for this so you can check that out. But you know, my headline was that they defied odds with financing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's exactly right. I want to see other companies kind of step up and do these things as well, because, you know, there's a lot at stake here, and we've got to, we've got to weather this storm, and who knows where we'll end up with COVID-19. We're still a ways out from a vaccine, a proven vaccine, and it's my hope that we'll have one soon. I think the prediction is maybe late this year or early next year. 2021 can't come soon enough, but until then, we're just riding these turbulent waters. Anyway, those are my thoughts. That was my rant. Still haven't decided what I'm gonna call this. But anyway, I hope you all have a good day, good night, good evening, good morning, whenever you tune in and see this, whatever time you do. I hope you have a good time seeing it, watching it, and that the rest of your day goes well. Anyway, I'm signing out, and take it easy. Bye.